Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan MS Pearce. I am going to speak to you in this video about the Gripen, the Saab-built Swedish fighter jet that has been touted, was particularly yesterday as, you know, it has been touted as a sort of saviour of the Ukrainian skies, that it was claimed yesterday that they are going to receive these along with more F-16s and Mirages from France or through France. And I reported this in my military aid live stream video, but I said take this with a pinch of salt because there are some caveats or some people who are denying that this is exactly what is going on. So lots of people getting very excited, including some people in the know. Michael Weiss here saying Ukraine's Deputy Defence Minister Ivan Havrylyuk says Kyiv is expecting Swedish Gripens, but he's evasive about the timing. When you see them in the air over Ukraine, you will understand. So there's this kind of cryptic statement. And bearing in mind, the Swedish themselves gave a cryptic statement about you'll see what we've given Ukraine when you see them type thing. You'll know what we've given Ukraine when you see them. I was speaking to Scruffy Tales about this, and he was saying, well, it could be the anti-drone systems that they have got, that they are developing. I think that might be Saab as well. And that's likely what they were referring to then. But actually, some people are saying, well, it could be Gripens. And then this announcement came out yesterday based on an interview, I think, in BBC Ukraine with the Deputy Defence Minister. Indeed, Justin Bronx said, and there it is, Ukraine will receive Jas-39 Gripen. Better late than never. I guess the fighter that was always by far the closest fit for the Ukrainian Air Force's operational needs is at long last officially on its way. Timeline to be confirmed for obvious reasons. But let's apply some caveats to this because lots of people are getting excited. John Ridge said Sweden has not confirmed any current plans to transfer Gripen to Ukraine. The Ukrainian Deputy Defence Minister's comment that they expect to receive Gripen is a reiteration of their public position for the past 2 years. This is not new information. Remember, Sweden gave a military aid package that included spare parts of the Gripen and possibly training, if I remember correctly. So it is the case that Sweden will be giving Gripens to Ukraine at some point. You know, they wouldn't have ring-fenced a bunch of spare parts and sustainment for the Gripen if they weren't going to be giving Ukraine a Gripen, and it's in their best kind of economic interest to do so as well. Saab are obviously going to be chomping at the bit, I would have thought. But the question is when. And lots of people getting excited about this doesn't change the fact that actually at the core of this, there is no change. That the Ukrainians are expecting the Gripen, but no idea when they're going to get it. Shashank Joshi reacted to Justin Bronx's claim there. Ukrainian Air Force rapidly acquiring the most diverse combat air fleet west of India. Soviet MiGs and Sukhois, French Mirage, American F-16s and Swedish Gripen. Nightmare for integration and logistical support. That will no doubt be a challenge for them when they do receive them, is just the sheer number of platforms they are operating. Intel Schizo said, remember Swedish Ministry of Defense back in June of 2023 and confirmed they would be training Ukrainian pilots on the aircraft in August of 2023, was when the training started. And for a while they had on their website the following, quote, Swedish armed forces have been commissioned to provide orientation training for Ukrainian pilots and associated aeronautical personnel in the Jas-39. The background to this is that the armed forces of Ukraine have expressed a wish to be able to evaluate Jas-39 operationally, since one of the most urgent measures is to strengthen Ukrainian air defense with a NATO interoperable fighter aircraft system. So it appears that they have been getting at least basic training on these already, and that would include in terms of maintenance. Now, I have suggested that they probably have been trained on these and it has been kept under the radar for operational security reasons. And it wouldn't surprise me if we suddenly did see Gripens flying in Ukraine next week or tomorrow or in 3 months or in 9 months. I don't know. they are going to get them. I'm pretty sure of that. Otherwise, Sweden wouldn't have done what they've done and said what they have said. However, as Max25 here says, Sweden's defense ministry has denied current plans to send the Jas-39 Gripen jets to Ukraine, but said the option remains under consideration. So this is what the Kyiv Independent has stated. Headline: Sweden says no agreement yet on Gripen jets for Ukraine. I'll read the whole of this article because they are so short and sweet, these Kyiv Independent articles. Sweden and Ukraine have not reached any definitive agreement on the supply of Swedish Gripen fighter jets, local media outlet SVT News reported on September the 30th, so that's today, citing the Swedish Defence Ministry. This statement followed the BBC's reporting that Ukraine's Deputy Defence Minister Ivan Havrylyuk had hinted that Kyiv is expecting additional deliveries of Western aircraft, including Gripen jets. Now, of course, I think that is true. All of this is true. They are expecting them. There's no time frame given. They are expecting more Mirages. Emmanuel Macron has talked about that. They're expecting more F-16s because they're definitely getting them. Belgium is due to get all of their F-16s that they had promised to Ukraine by the end of this year. And then it is clear that they are going to get Gripens at some point. So everyone has been technically correct in what they have said, but actually what they've said is absolutely nothing new. This is what we knew already. Quote, practically, you named the nomenclature correctly, but I won't go into detail about when, what, or which, Havrylyuk said when asked by the BBC whether Ukraine is expecting Mirage and Gripen jets deliveries along with new F-16s. Swedish authorities confirmed that talks on the supply of the aircraft have been ongoing, but said that no clear decision has been reached at this time. Quote, there have been ongoing talks between Sweden and Ukraine for some time about the export or sale of the Gripen E. Interesting that they definitely talk about the Gripen E, explicitly talk about the Gripen E here, said Adam Schellin, a spokesperson of Swedish Defence Minister Paul Jonsson, according to SVT News, but nothing is clear yet. Discussions about supplying Sweden-made Saab Jas-39 Gripen jets to Ukraine have persisted for years as Kyiv seeks to modernise its air force with Western aircraft. Ukraine currently operates US-made F-16 fighter jets provided by Denmark and the Netherlands, as well as French Mirage 2000 aircraft. Then Defence Minister Rustem Umerov said last September that Ukraine is also in talks to acquire Gripen and Eurofighter Typhoon jets, but no decision has been announced since then. That was last September, talking about Typhoons as well. Last summer, Swedish authorities said that plans to supply Gripen fighter jets to Ukraine were put on hold to prioritise F-16 deliveries, but could be revived once those transfers are complete. Again, so we're back where we started, really. But again, I would reiterate that it wouldn't surprise me if we suddenly saw Gripens in the skies unannounced at some point in the near future, but it also wouldn't surprise me if it was a medium future or the distant future. Anything is possible here. I mean, I hope they get them sooner rather than later. I would also hope that they are getting trained on these as we speak. And I hope that this is the item they were referring to when they said, you'll know when you see them in Ukraine. Because I think that you wouldn't say something so bombastic or cryptic if it was just some kind of anti-drone system, I think, that you would kind of expect to see anyway. So I would guess that they're referring to the Gripen, but that's just probably me being a bit hopeful there. Anyway, a bit more detail on that, which is to say not any detail on this because it's all rather cryptic and vague, and there is no definitive timeline on when Gripens will get to Ukraine, but I'm pretty sure that they will at some point. Anyway, that's enough from me. Take care. Speak soon.